You ever stand on your own land, dirt under your boots, coffee in hand, breathing easy, just soaking up the quiet you worked half a lifetime for? And out of nowhere, somebody tells you with a straight face you're the trespasser? Yeah, that's how this whole storm kicked off for me. Picture it. I'm walking the ridge behind my place, checking for storm damage like I always do when I spot something odd, a bit of poured concrete where there shouldn't be any, then shadows stretching into my side of the pines. And then, hell, it was like finding a cruise ship marooned in the high desert. A mansion. 6,000 square feet of HOA royalty, her pool, her patio, her chef's kitchen, all of it, 31 feet into my land. And the kicker? When I called her out on it, the HOA president, she didn't flinch. Accused me of crossing her line, waved around some janky map, filed a formal complaint, and then started sending a blizzard of letters about community standards and visual harmony. That's the problem with folks who build their whole identity on control. They can't stand being wrong, and they sure as hell won't admit it when the ground shifts under their feet. But here's what she didn't count on. I spent 25 years as a wildfire investigator. I know how to track lies the way other men track smoke. So I fought back with facts, soil samples, GPS logs, survey overlays, all the proof she thought nobody'd ever find. The court didn't just clear me. They gave me everything she'd built on stolen dirt. Every brick, every board, every inch. You'd think that would be the end of it. But that's when the real fight began, because now it wasn't just about a mansion. It was about somebody trying to rewrite the map itself, thinking they could outlast the truth if they just buried it deep enough. Let me back up a sec. Before all this, life was simple. I'd earned that. After a career spent chasing arsonists from Texas up to Utah, breathing in more smoke than air, I wanted one thing: quiet. Not the kind you find in a gated community, either. I mean real, honest-to-God silence. That's why I bought these acres just outside Ash Fork, Arizona. High desert, nothing but juniper and the kind of wind that scrapes the edges off your thoughts. I built my cabin slow, not fancy, just right. Workshop, greenhouse, a lookout deck, and a rhythm I could finally settle into. Sunrise with the coyotes, a walk around the fire breaks, coffee on the deck, afternoon fixing up whatever needed fixing. And yeah, for a while it was peace. Then trouble rolled in: perfume, pearl earrings, Lexus SUV. Linda Coventry, HOA president, queen of Silver Ridge Heights. She showed up out of nowhere with a courtesy packet, paint color recommendations, drone photos of my place, and a list of guidelines for land that wasn't even hers. The way she smiled, you'd think she was doing me a favor, handed me a stack of complaints about sunrise glare from my greenhouse and water barrels she could only spot by trespassing past her own fence. You ever notice how polite arrogance stings even more? She'd tape her little warnings to my workshop door, or slip them under the cabin like she was leaving treats for a stray dog. Each letter got bolder. Suggestions turned into demands, then threats about formal reviews and compliance penalties. I recognized the playbook. I'd seen arsonists start with brush fires before they worked up to burning down a barn. This was the same thing: a paper trail, a story, her setting me up as the villain, ready to point and say, he's the problem, not us. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But when she sent a courier with a fat envelope stamped with the HOA logo, well, that was it. Inside, there was a notice of encroachment accusing me of building my cabin, workshop, even my water tank on their land. She included satellite photos with red marker lines, drawn so crooked they looked like a kid's crayon map. At first, it was laughable until I got to the back of the packet. There was a cleaner map, doctored just enough to fool someone who didn't know the land. The lines came right up against my deed's boundary. A few missing markers, a little confusion, and she could drag me into hearings for months. That's when I started seeing the signs: boundary pins disturbed, fresh tire tracks near the ridge, even a drone buzzing overhead, snapping photos. One morning, I caught sight of two HOA truck parked just out of bounds, empty, engines cold. The message was clear. They weren't just bluffing. They were moving lines. So I brought in an old friend, Elijah Brandt, land surveyor, gruff as a bulldog and twice as stubborn. His crew swept my boundaries, logged every coordinate, dug up every marker. What they found was deliberate tampering. Pins shifted, new ones chemically aged to look old. All of them pushed deeper into my property. The clincher? Elijah's overlay showed Linda's mansion sitting a full 31 feet into my acreage. That wasn't an accident. That was entitlement dressed up as paperwork. If you've ever been gaslit by an HOA, you know the kind of anger I felt. But wildfire taught me, truth doesn't panic. It waits. So I gathered evidence, documented everything. And the land, well, the land doesn't lie. As we dug deeper, help started showing up. Martha, an old-timer from Silver Ridge Heights, sent me a video of an HOA board meeting. Linda on camera, plotting to tighten borders, saying I wouldn't fight. A teenager brought me GoPro footage of men from Linda's cousin's surveying firm, digging near my markers at dawn. Then, Daniel the treasurer cracked, sent me ledgers and emails showing the HOA was paying that same cousin to fake survey documents, months before I ever got a letter. Pretty soon, word got out. Residents, tired of Linda's games, started sharing leaks in the HOA Facebook group. People who'd been scared silent found their voice. Some tried to defend her, but most saw through it, especially after Linda tried to blame outsiders and misinformation. She went live, tried to rally support, but every answer she gave just made things worse. When the moderator finally suspended her admin privileges, it felt like a dam breaking. Someone posted every piece of evidence, every message, every video, and it spread through the county like a grass fire. A retired judge commented, said if this was true, it was catastrophic abuse of authority. By the time the sheriff's SUVs started driving past, everyone knew the truth. And Linda, she doubled down. Organized a territorial awareness walk, marched a crowd right up to the boundary Elijah's crew had marked in neon orange. She made a show of stepping over the line, trying to reclaim community land. The crowd wasn't buying it. Then the sheriff showed up, quiet but firm, and told Linda, on camera, that she was trespassing. She lost it, yelling, blaming, unraveling right there in front of everybody. The video went viral. By the time the emergency HOA meeting rolled around, the entire board was under scrutiny, Linda was stripped of her title, and the community finally saw what kind of person she really was. You'd think that would be enough, but it all came down to the courthouse. Maricopa County, squat and sunbaked, but packed with half the county by the time our case was called. Judge Cartwright, a former surveyor herself, didn't have patience for games. Linda's lawyer tried to argue historic usage zones, claimed the county lost their paperwork. None of it landed. My attorney laid out every detail: forged plats, tampered pins, fraudulent invoices. Elijah testified, Daniel confessed, and the digital forensics made it airtight. The verdict? The judge awarded me everything: structures, land, legal fees. Linda was personally liable for damages and removed as HOA president. The HOA was fined, ordered to pay restitution, and had to submit to a full county audit. And then Judge Cartwright said it. Land remembers the truth. The room erupted, people shook my hand, and even the old mountain biker grinned like he'd just watched a movie. Linda just sat there, shoulders folded, dreams in ruins. Afterward, as the demolition crews peeled back Linda's mansion wing, I walked through what was left. Windows empty, room stripped bare. But you know what? I didn't see ruins. I saw possibility. I turned the old mansion wing into a wildfire resilience learning center. Taught kids, trained firefighters, turned the pool into a rain harvesting tank, rebuilt the gazebo as a lookout for firewatch nights. I took what was stolen and made it useful. That's the thing about land. If you fight for it, if you treat it right, sometimes it forgives. So yeah, that's my story. Justice, karma, whatever you want to call it, it caught up. But here's what I keep thinking. Why is it always the people who crave the most control who are first across a line they pretend to guard? Where's the real boundary between power and decency? And how far would you go to protect what's yours? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me, where do you draw the line? Ever gone toe-to-toe with a bully, an HOA, a neighbor who thought they could take what wasn't theirs? Share your stories. Let's see where justice lands for you.